This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo. It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2. I forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a 3-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpack, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpack.
4! I should have yelled 2.
Here he is, our guy Jeff Kolpack, joining us on this Monday morning, as he does each and every 10 o'clock hour to start off the week. Conversation brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. How are you, man? I haven't seen you in a while.
Doing well. Hilarious that Logan Larson thought he looked fat on the college football 27 game.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, okay, do they have cutaways in the press box?
See, I was just thinking that in the commercial break.
Taller?
I was just saying, are we going to get a Jeff Kolpack?
Can they make me
flash?
look taller and younger?
That would be something.
You know, I mean, if he thinks he looks fat, why not stretch it vertically?
You can go in, you can edit your guys pretty easily. If they have an option to edit you, if they do a cutaway of the.
Do they have our pregame show on? I mean,
they should if they want the full pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Me giving Dom the business. I mean,
that would be perfect.
Big seller.
Just imagine if they had.
Can
Murray,
I roll my eyes a little more?
Yeah, right. Yeah. If they had Murray, Kentucky in the game, we had Racer 1 in our pregame set. That would be awesome. What'd you make of that conversation with Logan?
Wow.
Did you get a chance to listen to that?
Yeah, I've always known he's an impressive young man.
Yes, he is.
And the fact they're taking that business to the levels of a drone. I mean, this isn't a small drone.
Right.
This is something rather large to wash windows. Like tall buildings.
To essentially go downtown in those tall buildings.
I want to
over
see
there.
how this works.
Well, he's been telling me about it for this has been in the works for about a year or so. And when he first told me, I thought it was one of those tiny little drones or whatever. And as you heard him mention, it's a coffee table sized drone. And yeah, I'm curious. You got to get licensed to fly a drone. I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but it's impressive what they're doing on top of the transition to FBS.
Well, we've used our drone at WDAY.
Yeah.
I think Mike Kappel's used it a lot on the pregame show, actually.
Yeah.
Might get a lot of use this year with new stadiums,
right?
I would think.
Right. Might as well get a panoramic view. I know we've had months. I've asked Logan about it. He said UNLV. Do you have a favorite location? Where are you excited to do the pregame show from, I guess?
Well, I think, everybody says Hawaii, but what stands out to me, I think, is Colorado Springs and Air Force.
Yeah.
And, just Air Force.
They're
America.
right there in the mountains, aren't they?
Well, absolutely. Colorado Springs, 35,000-seat stadium. I'm looking forward to it all, honestly. I mean, of course I am, but Albuquerque. I've only driven through Albuquerque on Route 66 in a trip that my wife and I did, but I've never really experienced Albuquerque. I've been to Vegas once. And that was the cover.
Just once. So.
That was a cover of the 1991 Virgil Hill Thomas Hearns.
So it's been a little while.
Light heavyweight title fight. And I'm not a gambler. I'm not a Vegas guy. But obviously it'll be fun just to be there, Allegiant Stadium and all that. And and actually we'll be there twice, right? Because of
we get the Mountain West Media Day coming up,
which isn't far away.
No, that's about a half a month away or so, and we're going to get a good grip on what's happening around the Mountain West, and essentially a good opportunity to introduce ourselves and get a feel of what's going on. Is that fair? Once that time comes around,
well, and it goes both ways. I mean, we need to get a handle on this league,
right?
And I know Mike and I and you and Dom and are doing our best to research it, but. And I've said this before on the show that we won't know until we go through it a year.
Right.
Until you really get an understanding of these coaches, how things work, how things shake out, how the Bison will stack up. The Phil Steele's all-conference team came out.
Yeah.
How do you measure FCS guys with FBS guys in preseason teams?
I agree.
That to me is interesting. It's a total guess, obviously.
Right. I think I was reading that the other day, and there's an article on inform.com about it. There's 11 total guys in Phil Steele's Mountain West preseason all-conference list, if you will, and Keenan Wilson is the only one as a first-team all-conference member, which I think speaks to, and we just heard from Logan Larson and this defensive line, talked about how great they're going to be. Defensive line looks like it's going to be the strong suit.
I think, Sam, that expectations are being lowered a little bit on the national scope, which they should be after, like, Brett McMurphy came out and
there was
said
a big
they'll
boom
be
right away
favored in every game, and we're like, wow, where's this coming from? So now I think that now they're looking more into this team, maybe doing a little better research on who they lost, talk to the Bison, who they lost, who they have coming back, new quarterback, all those things. So, and I think it's getting more realistic to me.
Yeah.
That you better temper expectations a little bit, just because we don't know.
Right. I'm going to tread water when I say this, and when you look at preseason conference or all conference lists like that, and 11 guys, Nate Tosted was a second team all conference guy, and there's no knock on Nate. Great player. He's going to develop into something pretty big on the offensive line, but has he proven enough to be a second team all conference guy? And I think that's why you got to take these with a grain of salt, if you will. And
Yep.
Because Griffin Empey was a third-team guy, and he's been around the block for a while. You know what I mean? So I agree what you're saying there. Got to temper expectations, and we just don't know until a year goes out. But in total, defensive line, Logan, Keenan, in that group is going to be pretty impressive. There's no doubt. Now, there was a big story out of this weekend with North Dakota State football I wanted to touch on earlier this morning, but didn't get the chance to. How much do you know about Bismarck Century offensive line play? Because they just got a guy coming over to NDSU, and Peyton Seil announced his commitment over this last weekend.
Century's had huge guys for a long time. I don't know what they do over there in Bismarck, in central Bismarck, because they get some big dudes. What did they average? It was something like 287
You're
or something.
seeing some of the Dakota Bowl footage here. I had the opportunity to call this game. Obviously, it didn't go their way against Fargo Davies, but this is an offensive line that had like 280 rush yards a game, and Seil is 6'6", 285, and he's still got another year of high school left to go, and I think that was probably 6'4", close to 300 across that offensive line. If you look at the video here, these guys are huge.
Well, hard for me to sit here and judge what an offensive lineman's doing in Bismarck Century, but I'll say this, and it's an easy thing to say, is NDSU knows offensive linemen, and they know how to find in-state offensive linemen. They've done that now for a long time. So you're not going to doubt Tim Paulsek's evaluation of this guy. I think he's an up-and-comer, correct?
I think so.
He's getting better. I mean, he's came on in camps here, and I think he's one of these guys that maybe if you compared him to this or at this point last year, probably wasn't on radars maybe.
Right.
Just sort of came on in his off-season stuff.
I think, and Dom's got the story on Peyton on Inform.com, and I think if I have the gist of it right, he came in, and this is why camp weeks are so important for athletes in their junior year heading into their senior year, can get that impression one last time on these coaches and try to get some offers. If I remember right, he grew buzz at the UND camp. And then in total this week, I think he's been offered 6 times this week, and he leaves with the North Dakota State offer. These camps are huge for these kids.
Well, yeah, and obviously it goes because you can coach them. You can coach them in this camp. You can see how they react to coaching, because it's one thing to look at tape like we just saw here, but it's another thing to look the kid in the eye and see what kind of intensity he has, how he responds to, is he working harder, is he timid? I mean, all those things, all those intangibles that you can't really see on film.
Right.
So obviously they saw him in camp, saw what they liked, and said, boom, let's go.
And I think the other part of it that you mentioned is, okay, we're moving to, or NDSU is moving to the FBS. That opens up a brand new recruiting footprint, but still the focus is getting local guys like Peyton
you still
here,
need your absolutely,
and Drew Kessel, who's coming in after his time with Moorhead now, which I think is still pretty cool that they're doing that.
Yeah, and I go back to the Kessel thing, and again, these are all verbals. So NDSU already lost a guy to Wisconsin last week, an offensive lineman.
That's
guy
true.
from Pewaukee. So you got to remember they're just verbals, but to get a guy like Drew Kessel was a huge victory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're seeing guys going Power 4 now out of this state.
Yeah, it's the big trend now, A couple Kindred guys going to Power 4. Moorhead, their whole team's going to the University of Minnesota. Now Kessel's with Moorhead, too. I know you and Dom talked about Moorhead last week, but I'm very curious to see what that football team's going to do this upcoming year. Are they going to score in 3 plays, then have to play defense for the rest of the game? We'll see.
Well, defense. I mean, it's you can score 60 a game, but if you give up 63, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good.
Right. You and I, we talked about this just briefly in the commercial break. I do want to get your thoughts on this. I know it's beating the dead horse at this point when it comes to other topics surrounding college football. The Brendan Sorsby deal that's been going on for the last couple of months now. He was deemed eligibility to play after this whole gambling scandal was going on. I know you have an article up on inform.com on Gene Taylor's thoughts on this situation. There's a new development coming out today that the Big 12 has filed a legal complaint in federal court against Texas Tech and the Texas Attorney General on trying to put some sanctions down on Texas Tech. This is just an interesting deal. And
interesting putting it politely.
Yeah, right. It really is. When you look at the precedents that all this sets in college football, it's not trending in a good spot. What's your thoughts on everything going on?
Well, first of all, when you bet on your own team,
that's not good.
It's not a thing that you probably want around your team. I found it interesting that the judge is from Lubbock, Texas,
right,
which is right. It's where Texas Tech is at.
Right.
It's like a little home cooking here, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, where are and Gene Taylor gave a couple expletives when he was contacted by Ross Dellinger earlier or last week. And I did a big story on gambling and football last fall.
Yes.
In one of the pregame shows or pregame stories. And I talked to Gene about that, who's been an outspoken critic of that. So, and I actually referenced a couple quotes when I did from that story last fall. And Gene is right. I mean, get the kid some help.
Right.
I mean, obviously, when you're betting, when he's at Indiana and you're betting on your own team, and then it goes deeper too, Sam, because these kids now have so much money.
Yeah.
With NIL. Yeah. They have money now.
But he was getting millions to go to Texas Tech.
Yeah, they have money. So they have money to spend and money to gamble. And so that's a slippery slope. And furthermore, and Gene brought this up, that say you're good buddies with, say you're a K-State basketball player.
Right.
And one of your best buddies went early in the draft as a first-round draft pick. And so you remain good buddies. And he texts you like on the morning of a game, say he's with the Spurs, and says, nobody knows this, but I tweaked my knee and I'm not going to play tonight.
Right.
Well, that's inside information.
Yeah, right? You're down a slippery slope at that point.
And now with prop bets, I don't know, can you have a prop bet? I don't gamble, but can you have a prop bet with a kid not playing? Or a guy?
I think you can bet like the under on his point totals, essentially, if that makes sense. You know?
Well, I would bet the under then if he's not going to play.
Exactly. It's a really interesting deal. And in that article that you wrote, and one of the quotes he told Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports is that this is one of the dumbest decisions to ever come out of the NCAA. And I look at the last couple of stories that have come out of college football, and especially here regionally. What have we learned so far? That it's okay to bet on your own team, and it's not okay to turn yourself in like UND did with their situation in their quote-unquote tampering deal.
I think we learned that some Putz judge in Lubbock, Texas has more power than the NCAA.
Yeah.
I guess.
Right? Is that what we're going on? Texas Tech put out a 22-minute video last week with all the big administration heads, coaching staff, athletic directors, and president trying to explain this situation. And I understand a part of it where they went on hey, this isn't our fault. We didn't know he had the problem, but we're trying to help him. But still, in the sense, you have the ability to put the hammer down on this and say it's not okay, right? It's an interesting deal. What's going on in college football is a wild time.
NDSU, what they do every year in their preseason stuff, I think when they get together in the first week of fall camp, and I think Colleen Heimstad does this, is they address that.
Yeah.
They have like a little mini seminar with the team on gambling, its ramifications, its problems. And if you have an issue, let us know. We'll get you help. And so I think they do their best to address it right away.
It's very easy to get wrapped up in that world, especially in that impressible age that they're at. You know, it's a fun thing to do to go to the game, and I know I've done it a couple of times here and there. But in a case where you're an athlete, you got to be careful on that because it's much bigger than yourself at this point, potentially hurting the team. With that being said, let's take a break. Jeff Kolpack joining us on this Monday morning. When we come back, I want to chat a little golf. You cool with that?
Good. What a show. Window washing to gambling.
Yeah.
We're doing it all.
Yeah, we're covering all our bases on a Monday. Let's get the week started off hot. All right, Hot Mike continues after this.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
No Dom this week. Sam Getzinger filling in for Dom while he's got the week off. Jeff Kolpack is back with us on this Monday morning.
I can't wrap my head around this drone. I can't get it out of my mind that Logan Larson's drone.
Still eating away
So
at
it's
you?
a drone that washes or sprays the window, but so you wash the window, but do you wipe the window? Or how do you dry the window? Or is there water spots?
I hope there's not water spots.
There's probably not water. So
I would assume there's not water spots. I would assume there's a squeegee on there somewhere. But I'm sure Polasek would have some other words if they're making them cable. You've seen the guys who clean windows, cable up there and try to wipe them. I'm sure he wouldn't be too fond of that with the injury risk there. But I don't know. Should we get Logan back on the horn?
Yeah.
Ask him about this drone.
He's turned into the most interesting football player in decades.
I think so.
With this drone thing.
He's definitely one of the busiest. There's no doubt. Logan Larson, if you missed that conversation, you can catch it podcasted later on with what he's doing with luxury exteriors. So we'll have to get the final word.
Can you figure that out for me? I won't be able to sleep tonight unless I find this out.
I'll shoot him a text.
How do you wipe the window?
How does this work?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll frame it just like that. How do you wipe
by the way,
window?
I got a text message. How are your bunions doing, by the way?
My bunions are... Let's just get that out of the way as we're getting ready for a new year. I personally don't have bunions.
Oh, you don't?
I've been asked that a lot. How are my
that's
bunions
right.
doing?
That's right, yeah.
But I know how to point you in the right direction to get some help for bunions. My toes are fine, in case you're wondering. And get that question probably once a game day.
You do.
How are my bunions doing? Or just, this is my favorite when they just yell out from the stands, bunions. Bunions! Just yell that out.
Well, you got that. Your legacy is cemented.
I'm so happy that and Dave Richmond telling me they don't care about MSU.
Well,
those are the two best things
He told
I've
me I
done
was
here.
50 inches tall, so that was at the NCAA tournament
that was
in front of everybody.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. A couple topics I want to touch on here in the couple minutes that I have with Jeff left on this Monday morning. We're going to have Louis Lee Fanucci from the University of North Dakota join us in a couple of minutes after his performance at the NCAA Track and Field Championships. Zach McGlynn and Paul Olson, couple of decathletes for North Dakota State, wrapped up their weekend in Oregon.
And Paul Olson, the Elite 90 award that goes to which is amazing. I mean, that cannot go understated. That it's the highest GPA that's all athletes.
Right. 14th and 18th is what they finished respectively.
From small towns, too.
Exactly.
Yeah, Stephen, Minnesota.
That's pretty impressive,
Kindred.
isn't it?
Well, it's incredibly impressive.
Right.
And one of 4 schools to have multiple athletes in the top 20. Top 24 qualify. It's not like 100.
Right.
I mean, top 24 qualify. And it just and Zach was a walk-on who didn't give himself much credit when he walked on. And then and Paul was, I thought, more of a basketball player, but he obviously made the right choice. And he knew he made the right choice when he got this. But it's coaching. The Bison have for years had really good coaching with multi-athletes. It starts with Stevie Keller, who himself was a multi-athlete.
Yeah.
And so it's just and a lot of these guys, they come, they don't know. I mean, was it Paul? He never pole vaulted.
Right.
You can
had to learn that.
That to me seems like a rather intimidating thing to pick up when you're 18 years old.
It scares me just watching it.
I know.
McGlynn's a very good pole vaulter.
How do they do that?
I really don't understand the physics of how it happens, but McGlynn is a very good pole vaulter from what I found out over this last weekend. Both of them are pretty good in the javelin as well. And you're right. To finish in the top 20 for the both of them, coming from a mid-major school like North Dakota State, coming from small towns, is really impressive. And if you watch the track and field championships over the weekend, it's pretty easy to see that the rest of the field are world class, and some of them Olympic level athletes. And the fact that these two are right in the mix with them, tip of the cap to them.
And I think learning, like you saw the javelin clip there, the technique. It's just technique.
Right.
You know,
it's not just throwing a baseball as far as you can.
Or running as fast as you can around a track, although there's techniques to running, obviously. But just I just think the javelin and the pole vault and high jump and those techniques are just, the details are just so beyond what we know.
Right. How far could you throw a javelin, you think? You ever tried that before?
No.
I would like to see that.
I don't know if I'd want to
I want
anymore.
to see you play the college football video game and then throw a javelin. So we'll get that on your summer.
Are you a video head?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you'd stomp me like a bug.
I would like to think so. It's the only game I own. If that may, like when it came back, college football 25 came back, because that was my childhood growing up. The old college football games, and then it went away for a while, and now it's come back. That's my thing. I really enjoy that more than Madden, if you even know what Madden is.
I do.
Okay, well,
I know what it is.
Surprising. That's surprising. No, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to seeing this play. It sounds like you, Dom, and Mike are going to have a
just
quite,
so
quite
old school. We are just so
game.
old school. Yeah.
I find it hilarious every day. Dom, he put the story out last week talking about it. You guys have talked about it on the show. I just love listening to you guys talk about the video game world here.
You're just rolling your eyes.
I love it. I love
these
it.
Guys
there's
doing.
financial benefits to the whole deal and whatnot. It's going to be pretty cool when that comes out. We're a couple of weeks away from the Red River Bell Bank Red River Amateur Tournament. Have you had an opportunity to look into that at all? Look into the field, look into what's going in this year's tournament?
Not totally yet. I'm going to have Chris Hall and Chris Larson on my golf show this weekend and my golf radio show, so I'll get more into that. But it's going to be one of the better fields. Rose Solberg's going to play in it.
Yeah.
And and they've really tried hard and done a good job of getting a better women's field.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of their aims, is to get a better women's field, and I think they've done that. And so you're always getting the best college players around. But it's they do a good job. We're going to televise it 3 days, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like 15 hours or something like that.
Something like that. We're going to be out there. Hopefully the weather responds unlike
I've been out there
last year.
like
that
like a drenched duck out there, just getting sopped.
You weren't there last year, were you?
No.
Right? Yeah, it was hot. It was hot.
I'll take hot over wet and rain.
There was also like a derecho that came in after the first day and wiped everything out, so they had to figure that out. And luckily, we were able to play the rest of the weekend. But this is a great tournament. They've grown year in and year out. It's funny you mentioned Rose Solberg. I wanted to ask you about her, the teenager from Davies, who's most recently Miss Golf Award recipient.
Yeah, which was 2 weeks ago, right?
Is she going to be the next star to come out of the Metro?
Well, she has a chance. I mean, she's going to Minnesota. It's obviously good training there, and she'll play in good high-level competitions. I think she has the right mentality. I had her on my show last week, and she, for a high school kid her age, well, she's not high school anymore, but a kid her age, to carry a radio show for 18 minutes with me is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's tough to do.
That's impressive.
And that was impressive. And so I think she has the maturity to do that. But you just got to keep getting better. It's hard. Mm-hmm. Golf is just so hard.
She won, 21 tournaments in her time at Davies, and she's going to the University of Minnesota. And so maybe we'll see.
She's going in I think the Carlson School of Business or Economics, which is
good.
Something you and I would never qualify for.
No, definitely got rejected from that.
Yeah.
So I can't even come close to that. Before I let you go, do you got U.S. Open thoughts on this weekend at all?
Not really. I guess Tom's. I don't even think he made the field.
I don't think so. I haven't looked yet, but
he's been inconsistent this year, and and Amy, now that she's done with her career, I just haven't followed.
Yeah,
certainly LPGA like I used to. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah, it's a different animal now.
Kate Smith's been in a couple tournaments from Detroit Lakes, but
Nelly Korda's the top name, I believe, in the LPGA, and this weekend's U.S. Open is at Shinnecock, which is a controversial course for this to be at. Granted, it's tight and not very playable or scoreable, I should say. So
I'm going to stick to playing golf with Chuck Foreman.
Yeah, how was that, by the way? Was that
yesterday? They had the Vikings Legends with the Homeward Animal Shelter, and Chuck didn't play because he just had surgery on his knees, but he drove around the whole time with us, and what a great guy. He's 75 years old now.
Really? Did you get
so I'm writing a column on him, actually.
Okay, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Did you get some good stories from them, I imagine?
Well, yeah, he told me a couple things on Bud Grant, and, so Chuck, I know we got to go, but Chuck, his career was 73 to 81, and I was an elementary kid in the 70s. And so we used to play Cough It Up. You ever play Cough It Up, where a bunch of kids, if you get tackled, you got to fumble it?
Yeah.
So we were all doing the number 44, the spin doctor move that Chuck Foreman patented.
Really?
So we were all Chuck Foreman.
There you go. I would pay to see that.
Do kids even do that anymore?
No, I've never heard of that.
Cough It Up?
No, I think it's got a different term that I'm not allowed to say on the air, so I'll leave it at that. But we'll talk about it in the break. Jeff, I appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on this Monday morning. Let's take a break. We're due for one. When we come back, Louis Lee Spanucci joining us, talk about his time out in Oregon at the NCAA Track and Field Championships. That's coming up next.